Hello everyone, and let's revisit a game I used to love as a late teen. 1999 was, I think, the year I picked this game up. It's really impressive for the time it came out, I think. And really, Spaz only threw out like 3 games in their entire time. So this is kind of a special treat. And this game it wasn't really that easy to find. I guess it had a short run. Maybe you can find it on eBay. Maybe there's some used gamers out there. But now, keep in mind, this cutscene, yeah, it's polygonal. Yeah, it's low res. But think about when the game came out and for what system it came out for. I mean, original PlayStation here. And the music is really good in this game, to be honest. For a rail shooter, for a pseudo 3D rail shooter, this game has really good music and above average graphics. And this game wasted hours of my time because there's only 6 stages and then like a 3-stage boss fight. You can't really count that as a stage, so it's kind of an extension of the 6th stage. But so you got 6 stages. So they make these stages about as hard as they fucking possibly can, except the first stage. First I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the music down to about half, okay? Because the music is really overpowering. And I'm just going to go with standard options. You know, I'm not going to change anything. And you get a choice of 2 ships here. I'm going to take the first ship, and I'm just going to do auto. In manual, you can charge your special up faster. But I'm going to do auto for various reasons. Because I love that voiceover. And I love this voiceover too. I mean, it's as immersive as you can possibly get on a rail shooter, I think. Now, I could just be looking at this game through nostalgic glasses, and then someone could point out, no, look how crappy this is. No, but I love this game. And this first mission really is kind of a semi-tutorial in a way, because this is, of course, it's the easiest mission, okay? But more than that, it's like the only mission you can probably get 100% on. This game just wasted so much of my time. Now, I guess while I have to, okay, I'm sorry, I have to record my voiceover post hoc. I have already played this game, and my commentary is after. You will not be able to play this game and commentate on it at the same time. I'm sorry, you can't. Maybe the first mission, and that's it. Game gets intense. Anyway, the bar at the top, that's flashing, is your special, and it charges up. If you use it, it charges up based on, like, you lock on with your lasers. This ship has 8 lasers, the other one has 16. But this ship has an overall stronger profile when it's powered up, but the second ship has a stronger profile initially, and it stays pretty much above average. So it's not a bad ship. The boss music is cool too. Bosses have patterns, like you'd expect, but even though they have patterns, it doesn't mean you can let your guard down. Knowing the pattern is only half the battle. This is on a loops cycle of animation. You know, he'll do like a roundabout thing where he goes to like 4 different areas, and then it repeats until you blow him up. I want to say that if you wait long enough, the boss will die in just a few hits. It's like after so long, I think the game just gets bored and says, okay, if you've survived this boss battle for like 10 minutes, you deserve to blow it up. I don't know. That might just be me talking, but it seems that way. But you can kill it before that designated time, like I just did here, and 100% and 80% lock-on. If you use the special, which I never did during that battle, but if you use that special, you power it up by locking on with your laser and then firing. And I love this voiceover. If you don't know where GAUL is, it's in France. Okay, some people don't know what GAUL is, okay? You know, they don't, okay? You can kill those red things, but it's really difficult, and you have to focus fire, and you'll probably miss out on some of the other guys shooting at you. So it's generally not kind of worth your effort there. A special will kill them. Anyway, if you want to charge up your special after you use it, you lock on and then you fire your laser. The more lock-ons you have before you fire, the further the energy bar will charge. And now right here, this is where I exploit the only real way I can play this without my twitch reflexes. And I don't have my twitch reflexes anymore. I lost those sometime in the 2000s, okay? Because I had them in the 90s. They were honed to perfection about 2001, and actually a little bit before that, about 99. And after that, I wasn't playing games as much, and I don't play games as much. And so I have to do a pause trick here. This is why I did auto for laser. Yeah, I don't charge my special up as fast as you normally would for locking on and then firing your laser with a second button, but I have my finger. Fortunately, this game did it right. If you hold the fire button down, you continuously fire. You do not have to continuously tap the fucking fire button, okay? So I know that this breaks the immersion, and it breaks the BGM, and the soundtrack is so awesome. I really don't want to break the sound, but in effort to show you the game in its entirety, I have to break the immersion, and because I just don't have the dodging abilities that I once had. I'm sorry, if you want to play this game, and you think you can do this game flawlessly, or at least with the continues they give you on normal mode, 6 credits and 4 men per credit, go right ahead. I implore you. I implore you to try to play this game, like flawlessly. Try to get 100% on each board, because you can't do it, This game, you could say it's nothing but memorization. And I'm like, so my middle finger is on the fire button, and my index finger is tapping the start button over and over again as I don't feel confident that I'm going to survive. And I call that slow-mo. If you ever had the Super NES Advantage, or even the Nintendo Advantage, the NES Advantage, it had a slow mode feature, and then you could adjust how often it would pause and unpause. Oh, fuck. Look at that. See, even with my slow mode trick, I still die. It's not a flawless system to keep you from blowing up, okay? It just helps a bit. It gives you that half a second you need to just think for a minute. See, you can dodge these projectiles that just keep coming at you. This game is a relatively short game, all things considered, but you'll be playing it again and again before you see the entire game. And this boss's pattern, those things track you, so that's a little bit of a bullshit move right there. And I still have my special. I still haven't used it. You kind of want to use it on bosses. Yeah, see right there. I didn't feel confident. When you use the special, you get momentary invulnerability. So you can use the special and get out of harm's way. You can go right right there. You can go right through enemy fire, and when you die and come back, your special recharges to full. So if you want, sometimes a viable strategy is when you're fighting a boss is to purposely die. Look at all this. Look at all this shit. You have to be twiddle fingers to dodge these things, and the bosses only get worse. This boss actually isn't too bad, but trying to do this without your reflexes, honed. Like, look at me. I'm in my 30s, okay? There is absolutely no way I'm as good as when I was 19 years old, okay? It's just not going to happen. But I do love the boss patterns. I like how they tried to vary it up with each boss. There is a story behind this game. The story was in the manual, which I have, and I've read. I don't remember it now, but there is a story, and there's a lot of backstory, actually, a lot of extras to unlock it, to understand why these are the bad guys, why you're the good guys, why they're attacking, etc., etc., Yeah. And like, it starts you somewhere in Italy, Sicilia, and then you fly up through France, and you go to Britain, and I love the ship you're in. It looks like it could transform, like Robotech. It looks like my ship could transform. And see that thing right there that I'm fighting? That's a mech, and it looks like my ship could transform into a mech, but it never does. So either we don't have that technology, or they didn't seem it necessary. I don't know. But it would be cool if you had a transform button, like you hit select, and you transfer into a mech, and you have a shield. That's another thing that got me. Is you have all this technology. Laser lock-on tech, you've got pulse gun rifle tech, and then the other ship has solid beam laser tech, but you don't have a shield tech. Not even a point defense shield tech. It just. Did they not think to include one? Did they think their pilots were flawless? And you might say, well, yeah, that's anime for you. But, since this game is Japanese, it has a huge anime influence. Okay. The Japanese are totally obsessed with mechs. I mean, look at Mech Warrior and Robotech. Actually, I think Mech Warrior is more of an American thing, but Robotech isn't. And Macross. Oh, yeah, look at that. So I used to like Macross and Macross Plus. That was always fun. I got him. I blew him up. There's no. I don't believe if you listen, you can hear them talking. Like. Distance to target, blah blah blah, and then you have this one guy talking, and he's like, "Engage attack system B," you know, Roger. It helps with the immersion, you know, when you get these. It really does, and it's actually quite cool. It's just one little piece of flavor they didn't have to add in the game. They did. Now, some people might not care for it; they might think it's a little bit stupid, but I always liked it. And this scene right here will repeat over and over again. This little river thing, you know, until you kill the boss. So there is a little bit of shortcuts the programmers did take with recycled scenery, but only when you get to the bosses, because everything else is a rail shooter up to that point, you know. And that's fine. Again, rail shooters don't have to be sophisticated. They just have to catch your attention and be really intense. And this game is highly intense. Oh, fuck, look at that. I'm so screwed. See, I don't care. Like, and I wonder what his weak point is. Could it be that giant dicky thing that he sticks out? You know? The giant fuck me stick? Oh, yeah, he's dead. Yeah, he's dead. It's not hard to figure out what the boss's weak points are, or even like where to damage him. And your laser lock-on helps a lot. I do like how the laser lock-on is sort of fixed and you have to get it in range. If there was like oh, this is my favorite. This scene was in the demo, PlayStation 2 demo disc. This is my favorite fucking place. This is my favorite board. Yeah, my favorite board in the entire game right here. It's one ship, you, against the whole fucking enemy fleet. And oh look, obviously my ship is multi-purpose. It's aerodynamic to fly in gravity and wind, and it also is pressurized and suited to fight in 0G and vacuum. So, oh fuck me, yeah. So, apparently it doesn't do a jet intake system because there's no air here. I love how you can target those ships in the background, and to be honest, I don't think those ships count towards the 100%, but they're just so much fun to blow up. You can't resist wanting to lock on them and just watch them explode. I think the 100% is just anything that flies like directly towards you, like all these guys. Again, I will apologize if this continuous pausing is breaking the immersion, is making you not want to watch it, but I don't have an easy way to play this game anymore. I could play this game without it, and trust me, I tried. I spent the entire weekend, all my free time last weekend, trying to play this game in its entirety without doing this little trick of mine. And I couldn't do it. The furthest I got was board 5. I couldn't even get to... No, actually, wait, I got to the core. I got to board 6, but there's absolutely... I had 1 life and no continues. And look at this, look at this. Like, you think this is easy. You do. You think it. It's like, yeah, I got this, you know. But you kind of don't, you know. Because, okay, the issue I have with this game is that when enemies explode, they throw shrapnel. It's harmless shrapnel, actually. And that's fine. Game mechanics, it's fine. In real life, the shrapnel... Oh, fuck it, look, I blew up. Yeah. And I'm going to play the second... I didn't play the second shift here, okay? But in real life, shrapnel will be a problem when you blow something up. But of course, in the game, I'm happy they didn't add that as a problem. But the shrapnel kind of almost looks like enemy fire. And with all this shit on the screen at once, you sometimes get confused. So, I wish the shrapnel, I guess, was a little bit better rendered, or it was a little bit more distinguishable between that and enemy fire at times, because again, it makes you think that enemies are shooting you, and then you dodge the shrapnel, and then I just wanted to shut up so you could hear that. It's not that impressive, you know. Targeting range 1,000 feet. I think it says feet, which is weird because you think they do kilometers because it's space, and the metric system makes so much more sense in space when it's base 10. Anyway, this is the enemy capital ship, and you can target those ships in the background if you get... Look at that. Look at that. There's going to be 2 of those. Again, the pattern is discernible. It's not impossible to figure out. And he has launch bays. He throws shit in there. The secret to this game, if you want it, is to be very, very assertive, but to not actually be too aggressive. See how that ship in the background blew up? Yeah, you want to damage the control tower here. So, those little spark things I'm dodging, you have to do a horseshoe pattern to dodge them. If you try to do a circle, it won't work. If you try to go left or right, just basically it won't work because they kind of you can't do anything about them and they explode. So, oh fuck yeah, yeah, right there. I remember these things. These things gave me some headaches, but anyway, I'm targeting the background ships. I love it. I love watching them blow up. It's just rewarding. What gets me about the missiles is that you can target the missiles with your laser lock-on, but by the time your laser lock-on gets them and attacks them, they're kind of in your face. So it's kind of like you don't really need to blow them up, you know, because trying to be as aggressive as you can to kill them doesn't really work. And see how I'm not charging the special up as fast as I could have if I, you know, do like 1, 2, 3 laser lock-on and then fire, but auto's much better for my little pause trick. I try not to use it as, I try not to use it, but I have to. There's just no way around it, you know? The story behind this launch thing you're about to go into is that they built a gravity slingshot around the moon, and that's what this is. And it slingshots you to Jupiter, because they don't have hyperspace technologies, so they just have gravity manipulation, you know? I guess it's cool, you know? They didn't go hyperspace on us. So, sorry I missed the August 6th thing, but whatever. I had some personal issues. My phone was ringing at that point, and I'm like, oh really? So I hit the pause button and the record button. I tried to sync it better, but hey, real life gets in the way sometimes. Okay, even when you try to plan around it. Like my game time is 8 to 9 at night, and sometimes 8 to 10 at night, and I gotta. Oh fuck! Look at that. See, told you, pause trick only gets you so far. You know. Oh, actually, if you're that's Jupiter. I'm not so sure you could see Jupiter as close as they show it to you in the asteroid field between Mars and Jupiter. But if you can, if Jupiter would be that big in the asteroids, that's fine. But I think we were actually in the Jovian asteroids. If you don't know what the Jovian asteroids are, they're the asteroids that orbit ahead of Jupiter and behind Jupiter. So I think that's where you kind of were, the Jovian asteroids. I could be wrong. That could just as well have been, the standard asteroid field, but I don't think it is because, see, now we're at Jupiter, where the enemy shipyard was, and it's just so rewarding to blow the ships up and dock for some reason. It's like, yeah, it never got its maiden voyage, Look at all this shit flying at you. I mean, it's like, God, how are you supposed to dodge all this? I know how. Twitter fingers. And I had them. But, yeah. A gamer in his 30s, oh, look at that. They see it just doesn't quite work. Now, if you die and come back when the enemies are too close like this, they do stop firing at you, and that's a game mechanic choice. So you're not... Because if they're too close to you, you can't lock onto them and fire. Especially if they're at a different altitude. Like I said, it's pseudo 3D here. So if they're at a different altitude, you can't shoot them, and I got kamikazed. So you can't shoot them. So to make it fair, right there, see how he's not shooting me? They made it fair. So while all this shit comes at you, I'm giving a shout out to them being at least semi-fair, but it's still not that fair. If you guys want to see me play this game again without this pause trick and just see how terrible I am, I don't mind doing that. This whole game lasts like 30 minutes. That's how long. I mean, it's a short game. If you survive, and I'm not a very good survivor, but I don't quite know. Okay, this is the shipyard, and then you go from the shipyard to like the enemy orbital station. This kind of reminds me, and this whole scene, this whole segment around Jupiter reminds me of Zone of Enders. I know that most people laud the second Zone of Enders game, but you see, I never played it. I only had the first Zone of Enders, and I liked Zone of Enders up to a point. I loved the music. I didn't care about the story. I did love the idea of the mechs, but some of the stages got a little bit tedious because you had to go back to certain areas, One of the voiceovers, voiceovers can change in this game when you fight bosses. So while you will get similar voiceovers for for these encounters, occasionally you'll get different voiceovers. Like one voiceover, I can't remember what it is, but in the next stage, I'll point out a difference in voiceovers that I'm aware of. What else to say? Yeah, this is obviously the enemy mech, and this gives me the entire Zone of Enders feel, and I think maybe this game definitely predates Zone of Enders. Do you think that Zone of Enders was inspired by some of the lore of games like this? And probably, because how many unique ideas are really out there? Not many. Oh, right here, when you're between those zaps, he can fire the back lasers that come and track you. I'll point them out when he fires them. But you have to be between his shots, and then you have to dodge it by going up or down. You can fire, of course, and destroy the purple ones, but you can't destroy the red ones. Anyway, the lock-on ones was like 5 or 6 shots. They go from behind and they come at you. Those are very hard to dodge when you're between the shots, but there is a pattern you can do it. Now, right here, this base, this next map, I think I had, like, it's ETRURIA. This looks kind of like you're on a different planet, but it's just a really large... Well, like I died. That little blue thing sometimes pops up when you die, and it's a full charge when you continue. I'm playing the second ship now to show you. That fully charged. That's the ship fully charged. You get 16 lock-ons, and your lasers... Actually, so they never upgrade in power. But because of that, they're above average. So this ship actually is not for the beginner player, but it has its uses. Neither ship is a bad choice. Right there, I used the special there because I was panicking, even with my pause trick. These things are not fair, and I think I died here a bunch of times. So yeah, these ships, they're not easy to kill. They take like 10 laser shots to kill, especially the red ones. Yeah, look at that. Maybe 6 laser shots, and I just got hit by a damn green missile. I have gotten through this entire stage here by killing everything, but not in the next part of the stage. This whole enemy fleet thing gives me sort of a Top Gun feel. A good Top Gun feel, not a bad Top Gun feel. Actually, it kind of gives me a 1942 feel, if you've ever played that game for Nintendo, Yeah, see, this isn't a planet. This is just one gigantic, flat base. Kind of like, it's a colony. And that's why it's Zone of Enders. Yeah, this is the zone. This is it. This is canonical. It probably isn't, but it really just it is to me. It's like, yep, Zone of Enders, and I didn't make the connection then because Zone of Enders hadn't come out yet. But I do it now, which doesn't make sense because you can't say a game that came out much later is unless you look it up and say no, it isn't. And I'm not saying it is. Okay, right here. One time in this boss right here, those wingmen are a bitch. They take a long time to kill. Look at all this. Look at that spray shot. Yeah, twitch finger. Look at that. This boss, one time, my guy had that little mechanical voice. He said, unknown enemy approaching, no available data. And then the guy who talks to you is like, under attack, something, something. And he's like, Roger, Again, you can get different voiceovers for bosses. And, yeah, look, 2 deaths right off the bat on the boss. And I'm going to play the first ship again, because I like the feel of this ship a lot better, but I do like the amount of laser lock-ons you get with the first ship, because if you use them properly with manual laser, you can charge your special up a lot faster. But I'm not that good right now. I used to be. Oh man, to try to dodge that spray shot, spread is the best weapon ever, and that's basically spread. You can blow up the wingman. They do have a set amount of hit points, and the next thing to blow up in this boss is his giant fuck me gun, that big black thing. And see, he look at third death. He transforms from a ship into a mech. So why can't I do it? It really gives me the feel that my ship should have been able to do that. I'm the Macross tank, damn it, or not tank, tech, the fucking mech. I can transform. But, 4 deaths. It is not a good sign when you die this many times. There's his gun. It's dead. He's almost dead now. The bosses, up to the last boss, don't actually have that many hit points. They just have intense attack patterns that you're hard-pressed to dodge. There's no hard borders per se on these maps, but like when you get to the edge, you notice you just can't go any farther, and it like sort of creeps in that direction really slow. Then it kind of resets you and pulls you back. These lasers. Yeah. What's that game? Never mind. I don't want to get off track here. This is the boss I usually die at the most. For instance, I've lost all of my extra men and all my continues up to this boss, and then I lose my last life on him. So most of my bad memories, and look, with my pause trick, I've died 5 times. Without my pause trick, he kills me. You know, he'll take up 2 continues. Like, I'll not die. In my prime, I did beat this game once without the pause trick. Sometime early 2000s, you know, but and I didn't have a Game Shark, you know, no infinite men or anything, and I didn't set the. Now you have to fly into the core of this whole colony and basically ruin it. Predictable, right? You saw this one coming, right? I mean, of course you did. And here's where it gets extremely intense. And you wonder why I'm showcasing this game. You know, I guess if I'm going to pause, if I want to give myself an advantage, you know, if I'm not going to let you get immersed in the soundtrack as much as I say you should be, then why bother showing it, right? Well, again, it's a short game. It's a fun game. It looks pretty. I'm sorry, it looks pretty for the time. If this game had a high-res counterpart... If this game had a high-res counterpart, the exact same game, mind you, just higher resolution, and like someone reskinned it, this would be definitely a perfect 10 game, I think, for rail shooting. Like, you rate it just on its genre. You don't rate it... You can't compare it to other types of shooting games, because rail shooters stand out on their own as rail shooters. And... most of the time, like, I shouldn't have to break up my sentences as I talk because I'm recording post-hoc, but I'm still in the zone here. I'm still in the mood of the game, and it's like I still feel like I'm holding the controller, and I'm looking when I die, I cringe, and there's that all-purpose thing. And this is when I go back to this ship because I love it powered up. It's my favorite ship. Even though, again, I like the utility of the first ship, the feel of the first ship more so, but I like the utility of this ship better. Yeah. That's what I meant to say. You're gonna love the boss coming up, and again, when it shifts scenes, there's 2 stages to 2 sections to every stage, as you've noticed. This is stage 2, and you know the boss is coming when you get to section 2. And section 2 is always intense. They're always gonna just batter you with unfair shit just everywhere. You do not want to be in the situation I'm in right now. You want to go from left to right and kill those things as you can, okay? And your lasers aren't powerful enough to destroy them without your gun lasers, your nose cannon lasers aren't powerful enough to blow them up. You need your lock-on lasers for that. On this ship, when you talk about lasers, actually you're talking about the lasers and the chain lightning. I guess that's what you call it. Because this one, you lock on to an enemy, and then the chain lightning goes and kills it. But if you lock on to another enemy, the lightning will go to that enemy, and then if you lock on to a third enemy, the lightning goes to that one instead. It has very good utility because you don't actually have to have all of the lock-ons ready before you fire for the chain lightning to work. But at the same time, the chain lightning does have to go from one to the other, and especially on 3rd Fleet Earth orbit, if the chain lightning is down in the background blowing up one of those background ships and you're trying to lock on and fire at an enemy close to you, it becomes a bit of a hassle. It's like, oh, come on, get back up here. So that's why this ship isn't the beginner ship. It's a little bit more difficult to play with. But again, I do like it. And I do like the visuals here. I love how they rendered the backgrounds. No matter how they rotate the camera, it makes you feel like you could zoom back and view this in 3D. You could just rotate it, you know, like they wireframe this complete thing out, and you're just seeing a small portion of it. That's probably not the case, but it feels that way, and this is the way to do pseudo 3D. You know, make you feel like the world is still, I died. Make you feel like the world is bigger than you, without overdoing it. You know, like sometimes the backgrounds in games like this are just too busy. Here they did a pretty good job of not making the colors of the background stand out too much. Although here you could argue that your ship is red and this background is red, but your ship is a brighter color, so more cartoony in a way. Anyway, this is the core, but I know I spoiled it from the beginning when I said a 3-stage final boss. These bosses, this fucking boss has more health than is rightly sane of him to have. And I'm sorry for that, whatever you just heard. I didn't shut off all my programs. I think he has too many hit points. And the cannons on the left and right have a set number of hit points, but it is insane. You actually, and I'm trying to destroy them, but I can't because I remembered too late that they have too many hit points. The better strategy is to try and get attacks on the center column. That's the fuck me button. You probably would have expected that. Like the center, blow that up. But in some cases, you might think it's those rotating spinny things on the bottom, and that would have been a good guess too. Then you realize your lasers don't lock onto it. This is the one boss where the weak point isn't quite as obvious. So does the game get kudos for that, or does that deter players from that? Like, well, I can't tell where to fire. But a lot of times the criticism on a game like this is, in fact, it has a big fuck me button. Has a big dicky sticking out. You know where to fire. Here, it's more guesswork, and maybe that's to the game's detriment, because here, considering how much health this core has, it would have been nice if it was if it was rendered a little bit more obviously. Here it's just in that loop of going back and forth in animation. It kind of would have been better, I think, in this stage, if the core bottom, like the green things are spinning, right? But what if the back, the entire map was slowly also rotating, because your ship, it would simulate your ship circling the core, But again, in one of these stages, the background was way too busy. You saw how the stage right up to we got here, how it sped up. I didn't point that out when it was happening, but look at my special. It's like over halfway charged again. But if I die, it'll just get charged to full. But I'm trying not to die. And right there I die, so it goes back up to full anyway, and that's the perfect time to just blow up. And right here you realize you can lock onto that middle area right there. And I get a little careless, because I know I have 2 continues, and a viable strategy on this final boss, if you have the men, is to purposely die so you get your special back, so you can blow it up. It only takes like maybe 6 specials full powered, and the core blows up, but you've wasted 6 men, and you only get 4 men per continue for credit. And here I'm going to just switch out again, and you can decide which one you would like better. This is all auto laser, okay? If it wasn't auto, my thumb would just be going overtime trying to hit it. Look, I blew up anyway, so don't think the pause trick is like a get out of jail free card. But I am getting my specials recharged that way. Yeah, see, look how busy that is. Look at that. Like, the shit all firing lasers at me at the same time. The thing is firing tracking lasers, and you think, oh, the core's dead. Okay, I guess it is kind of a 7th stage, because this technically is the end of stage 6, but you're still in the core. I think. Yep, see? The problem I have with this game is that you can't actually hear the comm chatter. I dropped the music down because I wanted to hear more of the comm chatter. If the music is up to full, you can't hear it at all. And even when the music is down, the problem is that whole narrative for each stage, August 5th, 2219, 3rd, that's part of the music track. It might not be part of the actual song. Like, because you can go to the sound test and just listen to all the music, but they layered it in the same layer as the music, as the BGM. So dropping the BGM volume drops that volume too, and that kind of annoyed me because I would have liked to have had that volume a little higher if I dropped music volume. And now you have those wingmen that we had from Stage 5 coming back. The one benefit here is that they have less hit points, but they still have the same amount of attacks. And look at this. The pattern, of course, is the wingmen come back, and he fires his 2 tracking lasers and missiles. Actually, sorry, the wingmen fire the missiles and the lasers, and then he fires his tracking systems, and then the tracking systems. I don't know what you want to call them. And now we get to this part of it where those spinny, lightsabery things just fucking kill me, and I'm down no credits left. And right here, I'm sweating because I only have 4 men left, and I'm not even on Stage 3. You know, so I'm like, oh shit, 4 men. This is where the second ship kind of plays. Oh, look at that, look at that. Fucking laser wipers. It's bullshit. His pattern here is actually a lot more forgiving than the one beforehand, because all he does is throw these things out, and once these things go by, he does his wiper attack. And the wiper attack is actually easy to follow if you know how. It doesn't seem like I know how right here, because I'm trying to dodge them intermittently, like going up and down. But if you know how to do it, just do a circle, because they all lock onto your position and then swipe in that direction. So, and then there's the tracking laser. So you can blow up these arms, which destroys more of the tracking lasers, but it doesn't destroy everything. And he still throws out the same number of these lightsaber spinny things. So I love the technical term, you know. But destroying the arms can limit how many wiper lasers he has here. But of course, the big fuck me button is the one in the middle. And right here is where you have a break, and that's where you can fire at him. It's a complete war of attrition here. And the problem with the last boss, like you'd expect, yeah, I know it, like you'd expect, is that you get tired. You get mentally exhausted fighting this thing. And you don't know how intense this battle can be, you know. So now I'm just trying to... I have my special back, so I use it here, you know. And this part is just... now I'm just watching. Now I'm just watching with you guys. Like, yeah, I love this because I'm looking at my 3 men that I have left. And my lasers are hitting it. But the other problem I have with this game is that I don't care about any other enemy in the game. But I would have liked the bosses to have had a life bar. That way you can tell if you're damaging the fucking thing. And of course he brings back the wingmen, you know, and that just throws off my game, and I'm like, oh god, I have 2 men left. The one I have plus 1. Like, no! And then when he blows up, I'm just like, a sigh of relief. Because he is extremely difficult. And then, of course, you get the classic escape scene, which is automatic. You don't control this. Again, it's not too spectacular. This is very low res here. It's not... You know, the background isn't really rendered here. You know, there's not a lot of detail. That's of course. So you could discredit the game for that, and then of course we get the credits. What gets me here is that, okay, you go through the 3rd fleet, I'm guessing. Right here, everything you blew up. I didn't kill the full fleet. I think I killed like what 78% of it. You know, but. Don't you wonder where the good guys' fleet was at the time? And you might argue they didn't have one built. And I don't think they did. I think they had to build it like after you killed the 3rd fleet, you know. But ship commissions take months. But of course this is a fiction game. They just would have wrecked one in like 10 minutes, you know. There's the other ship. What gets me here is that where does this 3rd ship come into play? Why is there a 3rd one? And what pisses me off here is they're talking, but you can't understand them. You miss the entire end dialogue. I think my emulator there was like locking up for a minute. But where did this 3rd ship come into play? Is it something you can unlock? If you play it on hard and get 100% all, I don't know. It looks like the same ship as the other red one. You know, well, technically it has a little bit of difference, and I guess that's the good guy fleet. I don't know. Anyway, I love this game. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I admit the immersion was a little bit off, but anyway, I've got some other games I can play. You know, before I get into my another game that will take up more time. You know, so anyway, yeah, elapsed time 30 minutes, just about, not counting the pauses that I did. All right, well. This is a fun game for me. There is a sequel. It's called Ray Crisis. It's not as good, I don't think, but it's more visually stimulating. So maybe I'll play that too. Anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.